Welcome back to the School of Hard Knocks podcast. On this week's show, welcome to season 3. That's right. Listen, if you didn't listen to last week's show, I encourage you to do that. But we are jumping right into season 3 and we cannot afford to slow down. So this week we're dealing with one simple concept. That is your emotions and how they affect your business. You have to protect your business from yourself. It is time to get on the bus because class is in session. This is episode number 101 of the School of Hard Knocks podcast, and it starts now. This is the School of Hard Knocks podcast, the show that will help you turn your thoughts and ideas into reasonable, rational, and profitable action. The show that is about my life, your life, and the experiences of successful people. The aim of this show is to help you be the best version of yourself. Prepare to be inspired, encouraged, motivated, and most importantly, challenged. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to the School of Hard Knocks podcast. Your host, Mark W. Knox, coming at you for episode 101. First and foremost, let me thank everybody that showed me love last week. I really appreciate you guys. Last week was deep, man. We was, vibing out, obviously, on the episode. If you did not listen to last week's episode, do yourself a favor and go over to, right after this one. Of course, listen to this one first. But definitely go to your favorite podcasting platform and listen to last week's episode. Better yet, go to YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and make that the first video that you watch. Episode 100. No end in sight. So definitely shout outs to my wonderful wife for putting everything together. Shout outs to Danae Hankerson for being a guest on the show. You know, she was our first guest, and we thought it was only right that we bring her back for episode 100. Again, we wanted to create a full circle moment, and that's what I think we did. So yeah, definitely listen to episode 100. So this week, what I want to do is I really want to dig into what happened to my family and I last week. It being a very emotional week in a great way, but how that affects business, right? So just kind of framing this thing a little bit. If I think about everything that transpired last week, starting off on Monday with the release of episode 100, which was obviously a monumentous occasion. It was a celebration. It was very emotional. All the well wishes coming in, listening to that, all of the encouragements coming in, pondering on those, thanking people all week. I mean, it was amazing, but it was also a lot emotionally. It was pretty heavy, right? When I go from that happened on Monday to sending my 5-year-old to kindergarten on Friday, okay, everything in between, I was a bit of a nervous wreck, especially when it came to him going to kindergarten. I was a bit of a nervous wreck, no lie. I was not my most productive self last week, right? And when I started to really think about everything that I got done, it was still a lot. I still checked a lot of boxes, but it wasn't my normal. And I started to reflect on why that was, right? And I landed on the fact that my thought load was consumed with positive emotion, thank God, but that leached over into my performance in business and in my professional career. And I think that's what a lot of you deal with on a regular basis and probably don't even know it. There's a certain mood that you get in when you're in the zone. When you're in the zone at work, when you're in the zone in your business, you're in the zone professionally, right? I once heard a professional basketball player, I can't remember who it was. It might have been Steph Curry. When he's in the zone, he feels like he's throwing golf balls into the ocean. That's how he feels like his shots are. He can't miss, right? He's like, it's just like throwing golf balls into the ocean. Can't miss, right? And he feels like he's in the zone. You know what that feels like. You've been there before, right? I've been there before. Thank God I know how to get back to that place, because I've rehearsed kind of the journey for me personally to get back to that place, to be in the zone. But I know even more so, I'm even more familiar what it's like to not be in the zone, right? I'm more familiar what it's like to not be in the zone. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the opposite of what Steph Curry said. It's not throwing golf balls into the ocean anymore, right? It's not throwing golf balls into the ocean anymore. It doesn't seem like anything is going in. It doesn't seem like anything is working. It doesn't seem like anything is fitting. And that's because for me personally, my focus is usually off. And the reasoning behind that last week was obviously a lot of positive emotions and thinking and reflecting and being a little nervous and being a little terrified and being very happy that my son was going to kindergarten and not really knowing what to expect in that regard. All of those things affected my performance, which inherently will affect my results. Okay. So in a sense, you have to learn how to protect yourself. Or shall I say, you have to learn how to protect your business and protect your career from yourself. Because if transitions happen in life or life altering events happen, such as, somebody passing away, God forbid, a divorce, issues with raising your children, your spiritual life might be out of balance. These things happen and you emotionally are taxed, right? And naturally, anybody would be. I'm not saying to ignore those emotions. I'm not saying that you shouldn't deal with those things. Anybody would be taxed in that situation. You can also have the positive things, right? The transitions. I mean, you may have gotten engaged, or you may have gotten married, or you may have had a child, or you may have bought a new home, right? You may have just come back from vacation. Positive things. But emotionally, you're taxed still. So positive emotion and negative emotion can tax you and affect your performance, which is going to affect your results. Those things can bleed over into your professional life. You can carry them with you to work. You can carry them with you to conference calls, Zoom meetings, whatever it is. And people are going to know, in general, people are going to know that you're not in the zone, or they're going to know that you're not focused. And then, of course, when that happens, your level of performance in your actual job description or what you're doing in your business is going to take a hit, right? Where'd this come from for me? My wife, when we got little man off the bus on Friday, Cecilia had made a comment, and she said, well, first of all, let me back up. He started school on Friday. That was his phase-in day. And from Monday to Friday morning, I was nervous. I was jittery. I was pacing. I'm talking about all week. I was like, does he have enough? Does he have this? Does he have that? Did we get this? Did we get, right? That was me all week. And that's why I wasn't able to focus. Now, Cecilia was slightly opposite, because she was cool all week. But then when Friday morning came and we were taking pictures outside in front of the house with his little sign, I'm 5 years old, I'm going to kindergarten, my name is Marmar, whatever. She started to get emotional in a positive way, but she still started to get emotional. So everything just kind of dropped on her at the same time. So we walk him to the bus stop. There's a bunch of people at the bus stop. I mean, in this particular neighborhood, there's probably 7 kids that ride his bus daily for his school. So there's excitement at the bus stops. First day of school, everybody, playing, talking, whatever. Bus pulls up. The bus driver knows his name. We still trying to figure that out, but the bus driver knows his name. She says, "You must be Marquez." Hey, he's like, "Yeah, that's me." She's like, "All right, well, come on, let's go." So he gets on. He sits down. He sits in the window seat. He's waving out the windows. He's crying, taking pictures. So it kind of hit her like that. The whole day, I was nervous about him, thinking about him. She was nervous about him, thinking about him. By the time he got home and we walked back down to the bus stop, he got off the bus, gave us a great, big hug, told us everything was cool. He wanted a snack. He wanted some alone time, so he bounced. He went into the playroom, played with his action figures, and that was it. Me and Cece looked at each other and was like, wow, like that was a lot. Like it was a lot. Emotionally, it was a lot, right? She decided to tell me at that particular moment, she said, next year, I'm taking the day off. And I told her, you might want to take the week off. that's what I said. You might want to take the whole week off. And not next year, excuse me, when the twins go. So in 4 years, when the twins go, thank God they're going the same day. I'm probably going to take the week off. She's probably take the day off. But the point is, when she said that, I started to realize like, wow, like we were trying to run businesses, trying to be professionals, trying to, do what we needed to do for the house all week. But yet emotionally, we really were not there professionally. We just weren't there. And I started to think about when you're not there professionally, emotionally, you just didn't show up, right? You're physically there, but mentally you are checked out. How does that affect your performance? And in most situations, again, positive emotional tax or negative emotional tax, it's going to affect your performance, which is going to affect your results regardless. So I started thinking about that. And again, I wanted to bring that to you guys because I think that could be a major issue with most of us, whether you're in traditional career or whether you're an entrepreneur. You get in situations where life happens, because life doesn't slow down. Life doesn't stop. Life happens. You get in certain situations. And when you're in those situations, the emotion of it all is so taxing that it doesn't allow you to focus on your professional side. And then it snowballs. So before you have the opportunity to recover from, life event 1, life event 2 happens, or transition happens, or baby comes, or new house, or somebody passed away, whatever it is, they snowball. So you never are able to catch up, and you're never really back in the zone. When you stay away from the zone, or when you're not in the zone for any extended period of time, it is very difficult to return back to that high level, because what happens is you're comfortable operating in a sense that you're there physically, but emotionally you're checked out, and you learn how to do your job like that. You learn how to run your business like that, right? It's almost like you reprogram yourself to say, I'm just going to show up here. And as long as I'm here physically, I can probably get by, right? This is the reason why when you work in a corporation for a really long time, you work in a corporation for 10, 15, 20 years. This is why you get to a point where you actually plateau in the amount of success that you're able to achieve on a regular basis. And then a very small decline is likely to begin to happen, right? Very, very small. It doesn't have to be huge. And honestly, you can just look at your employee reviews. You might have been getting 4s and 5s your first 5-6 years on the job. You might have been growing your business, 10% year over year, the first few years in business. And then you plateau as an entrepreneur, or you plateau as a manager or director, or whatever it is, whatever level you got to. And then you start getting 3s and 4s on your employee review. And then as an entrepreneur, maybe you didn't grow your company. Maybe it was flat, or maybe you only grew 2 or 3% instead of 10, right? You plateau. And one of the reasons for that could be the fact that you learned and reprogrammed yourself to be able to complete the functions of the business, or complete the functions or the job description without actually emotionally being there, without actually being in the zone. It became second nature to you, right? You got put on cruise control. And again, that's what happens when life events take place. So the big question is, okay, how do I manage my emotions so that they do not negatively affect my performance, which is inherently going to negatively affect my results. How do I do that? Well, one simple thing that you can do is what Cecilia did without even realizing it, which is anticipate those moments in time where your emotions are going to be running high. Anticipate those moments, anticipate those seasons and those transitions where your emotions are going to be taxed. So she already knows 4 years from now, when the twins start kindergarten, thank God they're going to start on the same day because I don't know if I can do it 2 more times. When the twins start kindergarten in 4 years, she's going to at least take the day off. Now, what is that going to do? She's going to take the day off. Now, in Cecilia's profession, being a hairstylist, there's very little margin of error. It really is. You start from zero with every client, because again, with every client's appointment, they're looking for a result and you have to perform. So if you know for a fact that you're going to take the day off, there's no chance that your emotions could be running so high on that day that you disappoint a client or you completely miss the mark on their expectations. So you actually just helped your business by not opening your business, right? In that situation, you rather not open your business than open your business and not show up emotionally or not show up, with your full talented buy-in, so to speak. So you have to be able to anticipate those moments in time. I said I'm going to take the whole week off because I can tell you I was not as productive as I normally am last week because I was dealing with the nervousness and the being terrified of, whatever, him starting kindergarten. I was dealing with that Monday through Thursday night. I didn't sleep well Thursday. You thought I was starting school, right? You thought I was about to go to my first day of school. The week didn't go as I wanted to. Again, coming off the emotional high of last Sunday night's recording with the release on Monday of episode 100, and then going straight into the fact that he was starting school in a few. I mean, I was a wreck, and I just did not perform at my high level. I just wasn't there. It was a great week. Nothing negative even went down. Again, those were positive things, celebratory things, but emotionally, I was taxed. So I wasn't able to perform. Therefore, my results were non-existent. So if I can at least lighten my load, if I can block out days, if I can shift coaching calls and things like that in group coaching sessions and shift my responsibilities with audio video, I am probably doing myself a favor. I'm probably doing myself a favor because I can tell you now that, for example, when I look at these complex, large venue video products and projects that I work on, there's a lot of geometry. There's a lot of algebra involved. There's a lot of calculations, measurements. I'm looking at blueprints. I'm looking at spec sheets, things like that all day. If you mess something up, if you make the wrong calculation, it could cost thousands of dollars to fix in the field, right? It really can. And yes, I check and recheck and double check, but emotionally, if I'm not tapped in, if I'm not in the zone, that increases my margin of error and it puts me in risky business. It puts me in risky business, right? If I'm installing something as simple as a television on a wall for a client and I'm not in the zone, maybe I electrocute myself when I'm doing the electrical connection. Maybe I don't hit a stud the way I should. Maybe the TV is crooked. I'm not emotionally, I'm not there. And I'm not saying you need a ton of emotion to hang a TV or do some calculations, but you do need that emotion to complement the focus, and you need the focus to put you in the zone, right? You can't get in the zone unless you're focused, and you can't be focused if your emotions are all over the place. So the reality is you have to protect your business. You have to protect your career from yourself. And that means you have to tell yourself, we got to snap out of this Or we got to put guardrails in place to where if we have an emotional transition of life, if we have something big coming up, we need to give everybody around us a heads up and take ourselves out of the situation so we don't make costly mistakes, right? Or number two, we need to plan for it. You just need to plan for it. So as an alternative, this year, Cecilia didn't take Friday off completely, but she did tell me that she scheduled accordingly. So she scheduled her clients accordingly. She didn't have any complex services on Friday. She had familiar clients with simple services because she can do that on cruise control. She can meet that expectation on cruise control. She can meet that expectation without being emotionally involved, being emotionally taxed. She can meet the expectation, right? Thank God I didn't even do it on purpose. I didn't have any coaching calls on Friday. I probably wouldn't have been my most effective coaching self if I had a coaching call on Friday. To be honest, I probably wouldn't have not have been my most effective coaching self. And you have to be real. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to, again, protect your business from yourself. If I would have had one of my clients on Friday who was dealing with a very serious business issue and I did not show up to coach them through it, I am damaging my reputation as a business coach. I'm damaging my legitimacy as someone who, prides themselves on consistency and being locked in and owning it. I'm damaging all of that, right? So I say all that to say you have to learn how to anticipate and plan for those emotional times in life so that it doesn't bleed into what you're doing professionally, right? You can't do it because again, you get to the point where if you continue down that path and the snowball effect starts to take place, you get to the point where you learn how to operate at a lower level but still meet expectations, which is no good. There's no growth in that. There's zero growth in that. If you can still do your job without actually being emotionally involved, you're in a very dangerous spot. You're in a very, very dangerous spot. Because again, there's no growth. There's no growth. There's no opportunity. There's no opportunity. You have to be conscious. You have to be there mentally, physically, emotionally. You got to be in the zone. If you want to get results, you got to be in the zone. So again, chew on that. Chew on that this week. Just think about what are you doing or what has happened to you in life recently that could potentially be affecting what you're doing professionally. Is it affecting you? Has it affected you? Has it affected your performance? Are you not getting the results? That's one thing that you can look at. Am I getting the results that I expect to get? And if the answer is no, then you got to reverse engineer that problem and say, well, what happened emotionally? Why am I not in the zone? Why am I not tapped in? Why am I not in a place where I can focus? And then you have to examine the emotional piece and make sure that whatever you're dealing with in your personal life, whatever you're dealing with, again, it can be positive. It can also be negative. What is taking place that's taking me out of the zone? Okay. So listen, go back, listen to episode 100. We are going hard. This is the beginning of season 3. Our seasons run 50 episodes. That's the plan up until this point. So from episodes 101 to 150 is season 3. And we not stopping. I mean, we had a great week last week, but we jumping right back in because we can't afford to stop. I can't afford to not challenge you every single week. I can't afford to do that. You can't afford for me not to do that. I got to hold you accountable. I got to keep you on your A game. I got to keep you tight. Again, I want you to reflect. Why am I not getting results? Could this be the reason? Could I be emotionally taxed with something that has nothing to do with my business? Protect your business from yourself. Anticipate and plan for it. So thank you guys very much for listening to this week's show. This has been the School of Hard Knocks podcast. I'm your host, Mark W. Knox. Class is dismissed. Thank you for listening to the School of Hard Knocks podcast. Remember, new episodes every single Monday. Subscribe on your favorite podcasting platforms. We can be found on social media by searching The School of Hard Knocks. That's KNOX. For all show notes, information about professional development and business coaching, School of Hard Knocks virtual courses, and how you can partner with the podcast for as little as $1 per episode, visit www.hardknockspodcast.com. That's www.hardknoxpodcast.com. Don't forget to share this podcast with somebody who you know needs to hear this message. Thank you again for listening. This is the School of Hard Knocks podcast. I am your host, Mark W. Knox, and I'll catch you next week.